Yo, what is good, my quick crypto family and coin factory family? Welcome back again to another very late live stream. It's currently 11 p.m. where I'm at. And as we can see from the market chart, things are still looking a little bit rough. We did see a momentary recovery yesterday, which is not too odd, all things considered. Seeing this small recovery yesterday in the markets where Bitcoin did crash down to about 63k before making a recovery, stopping at around 67k. We are currently down 1.7% in Bitcoin, and the war, which we had spoke about, that would happen. We spoke about this on Friday, that Trump's going to end up doing it on Saturday. Yesterday he did. The markets reacted, Bitcoin came down. Of course, the stock markets aren't open yet. The futures markets aren't open yet, but they're going to open very soon. And when that happens, we are likely to see and expect a significant pullback in the market. Gold rallying up. We're already seeing it. Markets are open. Look at oil right now. Market opened. The futures market open. Oil jumped above to now $72.5 per barrel. Gold also making a push towards all-time highs once again. Silver also up. So the futures market is open again, and we can see the effect that's happening, the effect that this war is having on the market. And truth be told, we're not out of the woods just yet. So this is, in my belief, not financial advice, the opportunity, if you are still hoping to find cheaper entries, to be looking into getting into your assets right here and now, because we are likely going to see it go lower. We saw Bitcoin make a bottom of 60k back on February 6th, way back here, which was around the initial announcement of Iran and the US going to war potentially. We had a 3-week kind of tit for tat, and then we saw the actual escalation we're at right now. And we have got some developments on that front. We can see here, Trump provides some details on Operation Epic Fury. Just whatever. Very interesting name. The US will avenge the death of Americans. He expects there will be more casualties. Military operations will continue until the objectives are achieved, which basically means until he's satisfied. The US claims that the entire Iranian military command is gone, and the US is calling on Iran or Iranians to seize this moment. Now, I mean, we are very much seeing the moment right now, what's happening, and we're going to see the impact this is going to have in the immediate short term. My personal belief is we're going to see a lot of volatility, the VIX rallying up. We're going to see a lot of headwinds in the short term. We'll eventually find a bottom. We have her reports like this, where Trump apparently says that this conflict, this war, could last for 4 weeks. We are starting to see some escalations as well, with the UK now accepting US's request to allow for the use of British bases for defensive strikes against Iran. So you're seeing other nations now providing support, getting involved one way or the other, which, is that good? Is it bad? Bottom line is not a de-escalation. It's an escalation. This could maybe help it finish quicker, but the bottom line is it still means it's going to get worse before it gets better. So we could expect further headwinds. And as such, you're seeing in the UAE, they are actually closing the stock market on Monday and Tuesday to prevent the significant backlash is going to come through as this war continues to develop. Now, where do I sit on this whole situation? I mean, for one, I think we can all say we are tired. We are very tired of something happening every single week. Something every weekend we have seen it now, where there's been another situation, another orchestration, another event where the markets have needed to come back because we're in a new tsunami. A report that I'm going to be posting in my VIP community probably later tonight, if not tomorrow, is going to be covering the global crisis we're currently in, and the fact that we are very likely to see a massive liquidity flush in the very short future. That's not a case, therefore, that we're going to be selling at all. We're not going to panic sell at all, because we understand, don't be emotional, be logical. We understand that we need to wait for the dust to settle and take this as an opportunity to potentially find some better lower entries into the assets that we are looking into, namely AI, equally in tokenization, so real world assets and other elements as well. We're going to look into all of that throughout the coming weeks as lower prices are printed. I think we can see Bitcoin make a return to 60k. back down here, I think is very, very possible. If Bitcoin loses the support here, which is around 65k, which you could see that happening tomorrow when the whole market finally reacts to this situation. Throughout this week, you can see Bitcoin make a push back down to support down here of 62, trading in the zone here back to 60k. Will we hold that or not? It once more depends on the development of this this war. I think 60k is definitely a bottom of sorts, but it's a bottom that can be surpassed, and we could come down to the lows of 53k Bitcoin if I was to hazard a prediction. Of course, not financial advice. Do your own research. But my prediction is based on the historical zones for Bitcoin where we've seen a lot of support and or resistance met at this level here. So 53k for me is a very, very strong zone for Bitcoin. Hopefully we'll find support there, and hopefully we'll see this crisis simmer down, to put it that way. We have to be conscious of one thing though, which is, and it's crazy to say this, in 2026, we've been, talking us a lot in these streams for a year and a half now. It's crazy to say that's not the first war we've seen. We've seen probably 3 or so wars so far. US versus Iran back in summer 2025, US Venezuela happened earlier this year, and now US Iran again. That's just 3 from the US side of things. Of course, Russia Ukraine's been going on for a lot longer as well, but that equally counts. We've seen many, many wars, and we right now are on I would say we are in a third world war right now. The reason why I highlight that is because despite all of this, look where Bitcoin went. Of course, look where Bitcoin is at right now, but premise being is we are currently experiencing volatility because that's the news, that's the current headline. A few weeks down the line, even if this war is ongoing, you're likely to see the markets just start hushing up the noise. Understanding that the situation we're in right now, they kind of ignore these developments and start focusing on other means, which would be other geopolitical tensions, namely tariff headlines again, or the macro news again. It is in Trump's best interest to end this war quickly, because one of Trump's key policies, and with the midterms coming up, he really needs to win. One of his key policies is about lowering inflation, getting the price of oil to $2 a barrel, all these sort of things, which is feasibly impossible to do if you've got a war ongoing. So the bottom line is, how long will this war go on for? It's really, really tough to say. Tough to say right now. But I'm not overly bothered right now, because I see these as better entries for us to get into when the markets recover. If you want to see our executive roundtable tomorrow, we're going to be talking about this in a lot more detail, alongside going through our portfolios, our watch list, and what our entries are going to be for them, alongside the trades we're making as well. If you want to find out all that sort of stuff, then check the links out down below in the description. If you join right now, you can get a 7-day free trial to the Coin Factory VIP community. Test it out, see what you think, have a gander, get involved in the trades, make some gains, and then if you like what you see, sign on, and we'll continue helping to stay ahead of the markets, because that's what we've been doing so far, especially since the beginning of this new year. Everything has been very, very telegraphed, at least on our side of things. All the sources we put in has told us exactly how the market's going to behave, and we've been able to front run the markets every single time. So continue to make gains from the market corrections. Welcome back, Greg, bro. You're doing very, very well, my man. Rare to catch me on the weekend. It is rare to see you this weekend, but it's great for you to be here, my man. I appreciate you very, very much. Hopefully you had a great weekend. You too as well, Greta, my man. And you too, and Nukif, welcome back, my man. Next level cash. We rich yet? Not yet. I'll keep waiting. Yes, definitely keep waiting. I think we have got lower lows coming. We can see right now Kaspa's at 0.0294, down 2%. So 2.94 cents. We are still very much toying with this support zone right now, which is nice. It does prove that this is a very, very strong support zone for Kaspa. But once more, inherently, it's dependent on Bitcoin, right? We know Bitcoin is the driver of the markets. Look at Bitcoin dominance right now. It's extremely high, still in the 60% right now. And while it still remains that high, the markets will follow Bitcoin, 58.52%. Kaspa right now is down here. If Bitcoin loses the support zone is at right now, around this 85k zone, we're likely going to see not just Kaspa, of course, all cryptos will come back, all altcoins will come back, but Kaspa will likely lose the support here and make another push back to 2.6. And the potential length and severity of this war will continue to install fear into markets and send the pullbacks. It doesn't mean we got to start panicking, though. We haven't got to start panicking, because what we are, at least in my belief, I don't want to use the word thankful because this is not the scenario I want to see it as, but we are currently able to capitalize on a very serious and disastrous situation and get in some generational entries. Absolutely insane lows. We are still on the cusp of an absolutely huge revolution with agentic AI. You've heard Pavel say it. You've heard Michael Sutton say it here as well. You've heard all leading firms, all leading institutions, those who watched the video on my channel that I posted on Saturday, you would have saw me showcase a snippet of an article from JP Morgan Chase, the biggest bank in America, where in this article, they highlighted that 89% of their firms, their families, are not even in crypto, and 70% not even in infrastructure assets and projects right now, which is crazy. But that is going to change this year. They're going to have, I think it was nearly 50% of these families and firms plan to start getting into infrastructure projects. AI is the leading investment and priority for these firms, for these banks, these families, of 60+%. Crypto is not that high, it's only at 17%, but I'm very, very confident that once you see regulatory frameworks actually implemented, that narrative will shift very quickly. And once more, you can, because you think about AI, the fact that AI is number one, that for me is also why crypto being down there, I think is actually just a little, I guess, without a better choice of words, deterrent, in the sense of AI is fantastic in regards to the possibilities with it. AI, though, cannot function on traditional rails. It's simply not possible. It's too slow, it's too incumbent, it's too expensive. That's why AI feasibly needs crypto. It needs it. As much as we need air to breathe, AI for it to function properly, it needs crypto, it needs blockchain. So once AI scales up more, so once we get regulatory frameworks, once we get frameworks for AI and crypto, you'll start seeing the investment into crypto scale up a lot, especially those assets and projects that cater to AI, which frankly all of them are right now, but there are some that are doing so better or more so or earlier than other ones. The earlier ones, are the likes of Tau, Render, Virtual, they got in very, very early. The ones that are starting to do that sort of stuff right now, a bit more so, your Solanas, Ethereum's had them for quite some time, truth be told, but they're getting in more involved right now. Kaspa is probably the new upcoming one. And it has, for me, the best tech that can capture this market significantly. Marcus made a post here earlier today. A few unrelated observations and notes. Manifest recently made me realize that beyond the obvious point that covenants on Kaspa can serve as first-class state machines, they also have two significant properties. They are lightweight, on-chain. We store commitments to rules or states, and transactions provide the witnesses for changes. And they can be entered atomically. Now, these are very, very important. They have significant potential in the agentic era with AI agents. We heard Pavel say this. Those who tune into the blockchain banter show that we do every single Tuesday, last one we did was with none other than EasyODev and Felix from Currency. Even Ezio touched on it a little bit as well. But you heard it as well a couple of weeks back from Pavel, where he came on and talked about the significance of agentic AI and how it is the new big revolution that is, it's still not been giving its kudos. Not as much respect or not as much importance as it should be given. At least from the institutional or builder side of things, they are putting a lot of importance into it. From the general public, the retail, us, we talk about it, but we don't seem to understand it. And even then, some of us are like, it is whatever. It is so significant. It's so significant. And the fact that covenants are currently running on testnet 12, and in regards to everything we've been hearing from Kaspa Core, they are still adamant and confident that they will be releasing covenants alongside the other big updates like Silverscript and whatnot for May 5th, which is at this point 2 months. 2 months. We're currently on 1st of March. We're 2 months away potentially for seeing a new hardware for Kaspa and a game-changing update that would make AI capabilities security functions and all these things just improve tenfold, which is very, very significant here. To continue on the post from Michael Sutton here, significant potential for agentic AI agents can define custom rules and agreements between them without deploying a contract. Compare this to ETH, Solana contract program. Covenants are fast, lightweight tools for such agents to agent rule systems. So how I can break this down a little bit more so to make it maybe a bit easier to understand is when it comes to the covenants, because the Kaspa's block DAG architecture, which is significant, because of this, it means that covenants are a different form of smart contract. That's kind of how it's being chalked up to be. It's a different form of smart contract. It's like smart contracts. But with the idea of covenants, they allow for anybody to create covenants allow fast custom agreements without full contract deployments, which also makes it even faster. You have to have, you cut out some of the unnecessary waiting time and processing time that it takes for smart contracts. With covenants, it cuts that down as well, which is very, very big. Markson also talks about here, also quite big as well, how Kaspa is re-entering the GPU era. Kaspa's research and development is already experimenting with several GPU workstations for ZK proving, which is also really, really big. So it means that, Kaspa might have other features in the future, whereas right now miners and the K-heavy hash, you make your gains through mining the Kaspa block, and that's still going to be prevalent. And of course, what's going to sustain that in the future is the transactions that happens on Kaspa's protocol. That's going to help subsidize the miners, which is why you need the adoption. But with this element as well, it's potentially offering an opportunity for miners to earn rewards through the ZK proving element. Now, how that's going to manifest in the future, I'll provide more insight when I know more, or you could do your own research and find out for yourself. But this in itself is also big. Kaspa is re-entering the GPU era, which is big, given how big GPUs are right now, thanks to the development of AI again. And then Codewell stuff, one of the core developers of Kaspa as well, apparently is doing fantastic work advancing DAGNight and parallel to Covenants, which is also really, really big. So for all intents and purposes right now, it seems that we are still very much on track for some huge developments. Huge developments right now in Kaspa, all of them starting to come out in the coming weeks. Literally 8 to 9 weeks or so, we should be seeing so much more with respect to these hard fork developments. So I'm excited about this sort of stuff, and I also want to quickly highlight this post here from Jonathan Polinsky, a thread between ZK Dragon in response to this post here. Some individual here named David just said that Iran has showed why Bitcoin is the hardest money in the world, and the reply here in a somewhat sarcastic manner is saying, agreed, once all internet electricity is down during a war, my speculative internet coins, which I won't be able to access, are what will save me. And very speculative, a very sarcastic but valid point to make. But here is the development from here as well. Exactly why we need to make currency locally transactable, P2P cash, do so via local forms or of consensus from the mesh phone to phone peering you have to do. And then some policy talks about that here in regards to DAG, in regards to these other elements as well, which I'll be honest, I'm just going to paraphrase in regards to the Grok summary that I put into it, because this is very tech talk that for me, it does kind of escape me a little bit. You just talk about how, obviously we know some players who've got a fetish for the 100 BPS that should be coming out in 2027. But to kind of get into everything he spoke about here and understand what he's talking about, from my understanding in regards to the AI spewing out of it, and to Tom Belinsky is highlighting that one thing that will make Kaspa, Kaspa the hardest money, if you will. And this is not an incorrect comment from Mer here. It will be, you won't be able to access Bitcoin because of how it is during a crisis like a war. But in the instance of 100 BPS DAGNight Kaspa, that allows Kaspa to be internet chaos resistant. It doesn't mean it won't be affected by the war, but it means that it'll be significantly less impacted. So it talks about at the speed of 100 blocks per second, the DAG acts like a constant pulse of the running network. The order in which blocks include transactions reveals the local network topology around you, essentially showing nearby miners or nodes. This is especially true for high-fee transactions that bypass random mempool shuffling, enabling more localized, reliable trades even if global connectivity fails. So in the instance that there is a blackout that would come from a war that we're currently in right now, in the future to be when Kaspa does have higher BPS and DAG night, because of how frequent and how fast it is, it actually makes it more resistant to the fragile nature that would be the internet at the time. And thus, that's the theory that comes out about bunker P2P cache. Now, I think we've spoke about this a bit more in the past as well, actually, truth be told, about how DAG night would end up making Kaspa quite comfortably the number one protocol in this space due to the fact that it would become internet chaos resistant, and I think that could have. I think this year is going to be quite a significant year for Kaspa in the sense that there's a lot going on. We're witnessing crisis after crisis, week after week, month after month, day after day. Actually, there's something happening all the time. It's getting quite exhausting. This is when you need to see the proof of concept, something that can actually hedge against this sort of constant regurgitating situation. You're going to see more and more banks fail as time goes on. You've already seen some start to collapse. You're going to see more and more crypto projects that don't offer anything real start to fail as well. There's no doubt about that. You're going to see continuous headwinds. Once you see the agentic AI era properly start rallying up, which all of my premium insights and my institutional research that I post to the VIP suggest it will be coming out, and that catalyst, if you will start this year. Once you have that off the back of also all this constant chaos, you need to have a protocol, or you want to try and find a solution or source that can onboard the AI while also being secure enough to deter, prevent, limit these worldwide issues. When it comes to that is, based on all my research that I've done from the crypto projects in this space, there is none that can do what Kaspa does. Or at least none that will be able to. I don't necessarily believe that Kaspa is able to do that stuff right now without the DAG, without 100 BPS. It's not realistically that possible. But Kaspa is by far stronger than the majority of the projects in this space that is right now. The difference that Kaspa has, the reason why Kaspa's down so much, the issue in respect of its price is the lack of VC investments. The VCs, the insiders who keep the project inflated in price to prevent negative sentiment. Kaspa's not got that. It's all organic. That makes it harder for its price to stay up. Will it therefore go down and collapse? I don't think so, because once more, the community is convicted beyond all belief. Look at Kaspalytics. Kaspalytics here showcases all the Kaspa known wallet addresses right now. The active supply here, you can see last 3 months spiked up more. So people who have been holding Kaspa for the last 3 months, they're not moving it. 6 months, not moving it. So you're seeing people who are holding Kaspa right now, they're holding it as a long-term play. They're not touching their Kaspa. They've probably put it in their wallet and forgot about it. Why do they need to touch it? So that tells you right now where the conviction is at with Kaspa. You could look at Kaspa stream as well, and you can see that when you look at the price, that's the API. That's what the exchanges are printing. The exchanges are showcasing that's the price. That's what they perceive as the value of the project. But that's not necessarily the case in the actual truth of the matter. You can NTX has now got 5% right now. Recently, on board in the last week, it's got 25 million Kaspa. You're still seeing significant inflows continuously. Like the conviction is still very much there in Kaspa. It's just, once more, why would you expect anything to be doing any form of politicized action during the crisis we're in right now? You can look at anything, everything. I'm right now, we can see when we're looking at other projects as well that a lot of these assets are starting to enter the zones, the entry zones that I had spoken about in some previous videos. And of course, entry zones that I also spoke to my VIPs ahead of time as well. Like Quant's coming down to a very, very strong level for me. AVAX is already in this very strong level as well. We actually made some very, very good trades recently. I'm going to showcase them. Shout out to Lambo. I have to post. Actually, I'm going to forward this into the profits channel right now. This is the P&Ls of some of the recent trades, the short trades we did in our community, and put it in the profits channel for the Discord right now. But we had some very, very decent trades recently throughout this correction. This actual trade was a very, very long trade, I believe. I think we got into GOAT. When did we get into GOAT actually? When did we get into GOAT? Yeah, 18th. So we've been in GOAT for what, almost 2 weeks, and we already took profit on that, and we held it the whole way, and it fully cashed out. So obviously that's not the full thing because we took profit along the way, but we fully cashed out, and then that's also AVAX, the short we did as well. So no, despite the constant stress of the markets, things are we're still able to make gains through it, and best believe also DCAing and or looking to DCA and get into these low prices as the situation continues to unfold. I mean, you can just see what's happening right now. It's crazy times. Crazy times indeed. Welcome back, Brian. What up, peeps, man? I'm thinking of stacking more Kaspa at these low prices. We had our own bull run last year, or last bear market. Maybe we are the first movers again with all the latest developments with War Core and VProgs. It's not a bad thing to believe. I don't want to end up selling. I say selling, like I'm not a financial advisor, obviously, but I don't want to end up instilling any false sentiment or belief. There is, of course, and more recently as well, growing belief that Kaspa's going to start doing well soon, because Kaspa did this in a bear market when everything was crashing and everything was doing nothing. Kaspa did that. So everyone thought it was going to happen again. Ultimately, it's a 50-50 possibility. Bottom line is, it's not as blunt as that, but Kaspa is very much following along with Bitcoin and the rest. Kaspa has already proven itself to do it in a bear market once before. Given the era we're currently in, given what's happening right now, given the game-changing update that's about to come to Kaspa very, very soon, it's possible that Kaspa could start moving first. But here's the thing. I think Kaspa can make the first move. But this whole rally here, when Kaspa was still very much a speculative asset, this here was FOMO. This was a FOMO rally. That's what that was. And then here, this whole corrective path here has been kind of the FOMO's now finally died off. The gas is out of the tank, and then it's corrected, and all the miners like at that point it's the kind of the realism set in about the Kaspa price. Now Kaspa price should be higher than it is right now, but frankly the whole market should be higher than it is right now. My point is, let's say Kaspa does move first, and I'm not against it happening. Given the big updates coming out, VProgs, Warp Core, Dagnite, Covenant, Silverscript, 100 BPS, all this stuff coming out in the next year or two, or even much sooner than a lot of that stuff, Kaspa could make the first move. But I haven't got the post preloaded, and you had to scroll through my Twitter to find it. But those who are in the VIP will know what I'm talking about anyways. All the institutions right now, all their documentation, their sources, what they're sharing to their clients, what we are finding, my team's finding, and sharing it to the VIP community is FOMO is not irrelevant, but is not a leading factor anymore. Let me see if I can find, because I feel like I remember the post where it stated as such, where it's not a case of that FOMO won't matter, it's just not going to matter nearly as much as it used to once upon a time. And what's going to matter a lot more so now is actual infrastructure. How far back do I have to go through it? If I type in hype, will that work? Well, unfortunately, if I type in hype, because of the hype crypto project as opposed to Okay, maybe that's not going to work. I was trying to find that post and maybe forward it into the Discord community for those who may be interested. But my point being is, this cycle right now, what's going to drive the projects up is going to be, what's going to drive the markets to start moving again is going to be regulations, because we're now very much in an institutional cycle. Retail haven't got money. By and large, retail are broke. So, like, retail is not going to pump Kaspa like that. Retail are burnt dry. You need institutions to do that. Now, you have got your warp cores involved. And you have got some big infrastructure being built on Kaspa, like, soon. So you will likely seeing builders and institutions starting to pay closer mind to Kaspa. Grayscale might come back again, who knows? Marathon might start mining again, who knows? Like, these are all very, very good possibilities. But you need regulations coming through, you need adoption coming through for that price to move. Now, with Kaspa releasing these covenants and stuff like that, you could see that happen. Because with AI, they perceive as what AI will do simply is just find whatever the best protocol is for them to use to complete their task, their mission. If that is perceived to be Kaspa, because it's the fastest, the cheapest, you could do it in parallel, and it's also interoperable with other chains, meaning it can bridge and connect to other, then it will probably be Kaspa. And that could therefore be a catalyst to result in more investments, send the price up higher quicker. But I think you'll be surprised to see any asset in particular right now rally against the market trend. You got some niche exceptions right now that are doing okay. Hype has been doing well recently, and actually Hype is one of the assets. Actually are a number of assets on this list right now. Some of the assets that are doing well today actually are some of the assets that are on our playbook of what we perceive to start rallying strong when the cycle recovers, when the market recovers. Welcome back, Dreamer Man. I hope Kaspa drops more heading into tomorrow. I believe it will. I believe Bitcoin is likely to lose the support here, because when the market's properly open and everyone starts to panic, you'll start seeing stocks probably drop. You'll see crypto, being the volatile market is dropping even more, so that will mean Kaspa will lose its support as well. 2029 Kaspa will run. I mean, I believe Kaspa will definitely run by then, if not sooner. Once more, I think people are severely underestimating how soon some of the biggest, most game-changing developments are. And I'm not talking even about Kaspa in particular. Of course, Kaspa's got some game-changing updates coming in the next few months, the next couple of months. But I'm talking about the AI revolution as that bubble in itself. The fact that you're seeing AI ramp up in the way it is, and that everyone sees the nature and how important it is and how game-changing it is, and the ROI potential in it. That's why JP Morgan are talking about AI so much, and why it ultimately needs blockchain, it needs crypto. That in itself could result in a much quicker reversal. We've got to remember once more as well, we are in an extended business cycle. It doesn't feel that way right now. It doesn't feel that way. But throughout this whole, as you look at the business cycle, the ISM is normally a good reflection of the business cycle right now. Every single time we've gone from bull to bear, you can look at it here. We had a peak here, 2018. This is around the peak of the bull cycle. Then it went down. Bear cycle came in here for a year. Came a peak down here. Made the rally again. Is a rinse and repeat. For the past 4 years almost, apart from more recently, but the past 4 years almost, we haven't surpassed 50. Which, with that, we're not passing 50 on the ISM. It means that the data suggests that we are currently in an economy that is contracting. That money is not growing. It's shrinking. Last month, we saw the ISM surpass 50. We've seen it happen a few times, but immediately after doing that, it's come back down. It soared past 50, reaching a height we've not seen since 2022. And I believe it'll probably come back a little bit. But if we stay above 50, then by and large, it means that the economy is starting to expand, start to grow. And if that happens, coinciding with the business cycle, it means that we'll start seeing all the money come back into risk on again. Another thing to note once more, and why still I'm not bearish on crypto, and if you haven't watched it, definitely check out the video I posted on my channel on yesterday, because this video here, it kind of showcases the document from JP Morgan, explains why. I've showcased this in my roundtable actually, with the VIPs, and I think this one might even have gone public. Yeah, it did. So members could have watched this video as well, this live stream, this roundtable, where it showcased documents from KPMG, one of the big four accounting firms, JP Morgan, the biggest bank in America, the Rothschild family, Rothschild & Co., one of the most important families and institutions who run the world in the shadows. And one common factor you saw, of course, talking about AI, but the other common factor you saw was how all of them are still very much in equities. Public or private, they're still very much, a lot of their investment portfolios are heavily in equities. Equities are a risk-on market. So they are still very much willing to expose themselves to risky markets. It's just not in crypto right now because there's no regulations and because this market is way too volatile for them. But that alone should tell you that once this clarity comes about, once the regulations are out, once you start seeing everything come on board the blockchain, this market is going to explode. They still are bullish on crypto. They're just not trying to. Also, this could be an opportunity for them to get in lower. You think they want people to get rich? They want to get in low. I'm very much not against the conspiracy that this is all by design. All the rugs we've been seeing, October 10th, we saw it also here. October 10th with government shutdown and Binance, with the Iran announcement and now the war happening right now. The other government shutdown that happened here as well. Like all these stuff seemingly by design. You've seen so many situations where the markets have come back because of geopolitical tensions. It's all been geopolitics. I think warp core finality timeline is maybe 9 to 12 months away. Rory mentioned it on blockchain banter testing of it will take 6 months minimum. Yeah, I mean, Rory mentioned that in our blockchain banter show with myself and Crypto Pumps, about almost a month and a half, almost 2 months ago now. He spoke about warp core in quite a bit of depth. And he also mentioned about how warp core, while it is fantastic, we shouldn't expect it to be released this year. Now, if the timeline moves up, then fantastic. If the necessity for Kaspa comes out or is needed, then it might come out sooner, then fantastic. But he said it's very much more so a 2027 thing. Now, the fact it's in sandbox environment is not a bad thing. You know, it's still being tested, it's still being utilized. Banks are apparently using it. That in itself is reassuring, and that's good. When it comes out in full, you'll start seeing that have some form of impact on the Kaspa protocol and thus the price as well. Not immediately, not a god candle, but slowly and surely. And then you see all the other projects that are going to be built on Kaspa, your Warp Core, your ZTX, your Gigawatts, your Asset Mint, your Olive Change, your GeoSeals, your Agent Flows, your Conies, Kaspa, Orbital Node in space. KRI have so much they're building and more than we even know about. And the big one, data centers, AI data centers, they're building and running a whole network on the Kaspa block DAG. So I think KRI is going to be a very, very big part to Kaspa, and I think it's a big reason why I remain bullish on this project. Of course, the developments in itself are already groundbreaking, but seeing that it is once more, we're in an institutionally different cycle. If you have no institutional investments at all, then you might be in trouble. Kaspa, while it's not showcasing that in the price, Kaspa has got institutional investments. You've got KRI, DRI, the biggest companies in the world, like SGCC, PwC, Eon Energies, Siemens Energies. You've got Mazda. You've got the UAE. You've got these massive bodies who Shell, who are all actively part of the DRI kind of association and the independent research body, if you will, and they're looking on how to solve real world problems like the issue of renewable energy, how to advance AI, all these other elements as well, which Kaspa seems to be the only feasible project that they've looked into that can handle that. We use AI in our daily live streams nowadays. I mean, I use Grok, Gemini, Honhuan, Seedance 2, etc. They are tools that will replace a big portion of people, but they stay tools. I agree. There are times where I do use AI to help in regards to trying to simplify. Like when I'm looking at these posts, sometimes I'm like, okay, I understand the words there, but I don't understand the meaning behind what's being said. So I might ask AI to help simplify that for me. But right now, that stage that AI is in, it's not in a stage where it's going to replace, it's just going to help. The biggest skill that people can and should be learning is how to use AI. The sentiment that AI is going to replace us is definitely one filled of FUD. It's not necessarily incorrect, in all honesty, but it's one filled of a lot of FUD. The way you stay ahead of that is by learning how to utilize AI to your benefit. It's a very, very important skill. Also, for gaming, Unity has announced prompting to show off that GDC this month as well. Well, I mean, I'm guessing GDC is another AI bot or an AI chat tool of some aspect. But yeah, you'll see. You're gonna see AI. AI is literally in every element right now. I mean, hell, have you not seen the post about when Trump denounced that's okay, my feed's showing some crazy stuff right now. Trump denounced Anthropic, or not denounced the right word, but he said that he basically just said don't use Anthropic, yada yada yada. Bottom line is the military, the US military are using AI to help with operations. Like, if that's not more definitive proof of how big AI is and how impactful it's going to be, and why these posts here talking about covenants on Kaspa that's going to be coming out in 2 months is actually a major boost to the possibility and potential of agentic AI, then I don't know what is. I don't know what is. I think in the coming months, even the coming weeks, coming days, you're going to still see volatility. I think if Trump's right in this war dragging out, which I hope it doesn't, but if he's right on saying that, I think you see probably a couple of weeks of pullback, headwinds, FUD, Kappa down to 2 cents maybe, Bitcoin down to 50k, 53k maybe, and then you'll see, even if it is ongoing at that point, the markets will just come to terms with it. It's the same way they came to terms with Russia, Ukraine. They'll just come to like, okay, yeah, it's happening. We know it's happening. And then they're going to focus on the next thing. And the next thing, next headline could be a tariff headline. It could be you'll definitely see some volatility around the midterms, and no doubt about it. I'm sure Trump's going to pull out all the stops possible to try and win the midterms, which I think his chances right now are getting slimmer, if I'm putting it from my perspective, because, well, the war, whether justified or not, it was unconstitutional. You had to get Congress's approval to go to war, and he didn't. So I don't know how the midterms are going to pay out. And I think if he loses that could actually be quite disastrous. Actually, in saying that, if I think about it objectively, Trump hasn't really listened to the opinions of Congress anyways. Losing the midterms just basically means that Republicans lose the House. But if he doesn't really care about Congress or that stuff anyways, it won't really affect him at all. That's an interesting food for thought. Quite a scary one as well, truth be told. What was I even saying? Big tangent there. Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of headlines, a lot of whatever it may be, in a kind of hedge, if you will, for Trump to try and win the midterms. You're going to see a lot of headlines, right? A lot of volatility. You're going to see a lot of noise. That's what I want to say. You're going to see a lot of noise. And if you want to stay ahead of the noise and more locked into the announcements that really matter, I highly recommend joining my free Discord server, where you'll be tuned into other people who are talking in there. But to be properly locked in and more leveled up, definitely check out the VIP community, because we're posting documentation, leading economists, resources, analysis, everything. We're posting that frequently so we can stay ahead of the markets, in line with the markets, and prepare for what's to come. And of course, making gains for the market as well, be it through trading and also trying to find the assets at a low point. So definitely check out the VIP. You can join 7-day free trial as well and make the most of what's going on in there. Join for free, see if you like it, and then by all means you can cancel or continue, completely down to you. Equally, if you sign up through BYDFI, our affiliate exchange, you follow the steps in our free Discord server right here, you can get a whole 1 month free if you just let me know that you did follow the steps accordingly. I can check it out, see you did, and if you did, I can give you a 1 month free trial to everything going on in the VIP, all the investments, trading, education, the trades from BYDFI themselves, and equally our own traders we've got there. Our roundtable we're going to be doing tomorrow as well, and everything else. And you're also more than welcome, I should say, to reach out and get a one-to-one from me if you so feel the need to. That's what I'm trying to help provide to the VIPs. But now that I've got that shell out the way, the core things that you need to keep in mind that's going to impact crypto, that is not the noise. Regulatory frameworks. The Genius bills already passed through the courts of law. You want to see the Clarity Act pass through. We haven't heard anything recent as of yet. They are meant to finalize the stablecoin yield dispute by today. I don't think that's happened. I'm not surprised. We want to see, once the Clarity Act is passed, that will be a good big catalyst. You have got MiCA being fully enforced in June this year. That will be a decent catalyst. And the Genius Act, the stablecoin bill we just spoke about, that will be fully implemented by January 2027. Regulation is a big one. That is one news source that you should be keeping a mind on. It's noise. It's not going to matter until it's fully enforced, but it's still something you should be keeping in mind, because it gives you an understanding of when the markets might start making a recovery, because the closer we are to seeing the legislation enforced, the closer we are to seeing institutions having the confidence to start hedging their bets into the space. AI developments going to be huge for crypto. They go hand in hand with crypto. So anything AI related, it will impact the volatility and the nature of crypto. The day you saw a massive green candle, which was most definitely a fake out, and we spoke about this in the VIP on the Wednesday when we saw this great green candle for Bitcoin this day, we post a source in our VIP saying, this is fantastic, but this is just noise. So be careful. And good thing we did say that, because look at that, immediate pullback. But that was off the back of some positive macro data, but also the Nvidia earning report coming out, beating expectations, meaning AI doing very well again. That's why you saw the green candle. So AI is going to be very important as well. Those are the two main bullish catalysts that will determine when the market is going to recover: AI and also regulations. In regards to headwinds and what's going to cause more tensions, it's pretty much macro as always, but right now it's most definitely geopolitics. And geopolitics doesn't just mean across borders, it just means political conflict effectively. It's got quite a broader, more nuanced meaning. Like if there's conflict happening between Republicans and Democrats in the midterms and stuff is being said, that will cause headwinds, geopolitics, pullbacks. Government shutdown is geopolitics, for example. Of course, what's happening in Iran right now, the war, that is geopolitics, that is conflict, that is causing headwinds. They'll cause a lot of short-term volatility. Those are short-term catalysts, letting you know the market's going to move. And they effectively just gives you better entry. If you think that crypto's still going to come back, which I wholeheartedly have no doubt it will, you have better entry zones. If you think it's going to kill crypto, then of course you've got to do what is right for you and move your investments elsewhere. Welcome back, Double Demon Man. You're doing very, very well. It will be time for shopping for the next 2 weeks. Kaboom. Oh, yeah. Next 2 weeks is going to be discount central, fire sale central, Black Friday every day. I am looking closely at the assets in our portfolio, and I'm going to definitely be getting to a lot of them at very, very discounted values, potentially in the next couple of weeks. And yes, we could still go lower. But I'll be honest, we could still go lower. Like, with what's happening right now and the overall sentiment just being so terrible, you could definitely go lower. But we shouldn't be emotional in that aspect. We understand that. Remember to get Bitcoin first because it always starts running first. I'd say Bitcoin between 50 to 40k. Yeah. I mean, Bitcoin is in itself the number one, right? So Bitcoin, yes, it moves first. Institutions right now have access to Bitcoin. So yes. Of course, if you don't want to be exposed to Bitcoin, you want to be exposed to altcoins, it's a higher risk, of course, but you're also welcome to do so. You've got to do what's right for you. I think Bitcoin can make a retracement back to 50. Well, the support zone that I've drawn out in regards to my TA is between 50 to 53k. Now, we could definitely go lower. It does wholeheartedly depend on the war and how quickly it is snuffed out, if at all. I think we can see Bitcoin come down there. Right now, our main focus is on 60k support. If we lose that, then 53k is highly likely, in my belief. Maybe even 50k. If we lose that, then, you know, I think we could definitely see Bitcoin make a push to 35 again. But that's a situation I'll talk about a lot more so at a later date. What up, HXC, Vox, who development man? Welcome back, Tan B. Capital $1 by 2030. Yeah, I don't see why not. $1 Kaspa. Wow, if you had said that last year, everyone would have been very, very upset by hearing that number because everyone was expecting $10 because all the KOLs and YouTubers showed them a full stream basically by saying $50 Kaspa. So a $1 Kaspa by 2030 is most definitely possible. And from this current position right now, you're looking at, well, it's almost at 2 cents. It's at 2.9 cents. But in the instance that Bitcoin does come down and Kaspa comes down as well to 2 cents, you're looking at a 50x in 5 years. Are you going to complain about a 50x in 5 years? No, not at all. And I think Kaspa $1 is very easily achievable, if not a lot more so. Once more, if you think about the level of capital that's going to be coming into this space, market cap right now is at 2.28 trillion. We also have the position right now where everything's starting to be tokenized on chain. Hype is currently one of the leaders in that aspect. Canton is making a big name for itself as well. Omdu, tokenizing real world assets. AI is rallying up more and more as well. You saw big banks, I think it was Morgan Stanley, file for a charter license, a bank charter license, I believe, basically kind of being allowed to sell crypto. Premise being is this 2.27 trillion. Like, think about all the capital is going to be coming, where crypto blockchain is going to be. You're going to see the tokenization of real estate, stocks, bonds, equity. Everything's going to be tokenized. Everything's going to be on chain. This is a very small market cap comparatively to when you think about the level of capital is going to be coming into crypto. Not immediately, of course, but over time, yes. So $1 Kaspa. Look at its market cap. Look at its supply. A $1 Kaspa would put it at a $27.24 billion market cap. That's how much you've got to see that as a market cap for you to get a $1 Kaspa. That is, for me, not that hard to achieve at all, considering that in prior cycles you've seen, for example, you look at Solana. Solana made a rally up to 80 billion, I believe. Ethereum made an insane rally in its cycles as well. The multiplier effect is very, very real, and what's going to matter really is the utility and use case is going to help push it up, and Kaspa has got, for my belief, the strongest utility and use case, and it's going to be proven as such very, very soon. You've got this announcement here. I didn't get into this yet. You've got Streom Finance, who's just done a cross-chain atomic swap from Ethereum to Kaspa and back in under 3 minutes. That's insane. No bridge, no wrap tokens, no middlemen, just HTLC and maths. And this might be the fastest on-chain atomic swap ever recorded. testnet 10 integration with Geopolitical. This is really, really insane stuff. Atomic swaps on Kaspa are still not fully like there and live, at least not native. But those are elements that should be coming out in due time. But you're seeing it happen. Atomic swaps is a huge, huge thing as well. So that's great to see. You've got Casplex, of course, one of the layer 2s. Igor's not even live yet. They come out in like end of March time publicly. They're now live. They've got the mainnet live, but it's not public yet. They'll be coming public next end of the month. But Casplex here, highlight that Casplex is following closely any Kaspa core developments and integrates them. So you can see the Casplex roadmap here as well for this year. Igor, of course, be doing stuff as well. And there's also a final point as well. There's going to be an event at Wolfie's Bar this Saturday, which I actually am going to be attending. I think I might even be, I know I'm going to be speaking at the event as well. I'm hoping I can stream it, but I'm having some laptop troubles right now. Long story short, I spilt Red Bull on it. I don't even ask. And it's in the shop being repaired. So if it's fixed by then, I most definitely will be streaming that event. If not, then you'll probably see some clips or highlights or something of me speaking there. Like a proper uni lecture, I guess. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about just yet. Probably just my journey into, I guess, finding Kaspa and why I believe it's so good. You'd be here, see a bit of a history lesson with me, and also the success that I've done with crypto as well. The only problem is if Kaspa at $1, every other coin is 2 to 5 times more. I mean, I know you're very, very much bearish on Kaspa, Tambi. You have been very frequent in the chat, bearish on it. I don't see every other altcoin being 2 to 5 times higher in multiplier if Kaspa reaches $1. Because again, if you're doing the math, you're saying Kaspa 50x, rounding down. Kaspa 50x from here, you think therefore that Solana's going to do it 100x from here, or a 250x. Come on, that's a bit ridiculous. Or other altcoins being on the. Don't get me wrong, there are altcoins that will go parabolic. I think Kaspa is. I mean, Kaspa wants more. I think it's still very, very underappreciated, undervalued, and that's why what's being built right now is so significant. And hopefully, we'll start triggering that adoption for Kaspa. What's happening for Kaspa right now is the one thing I need to keep reiterating. Well, I don't even need to, but I do. Kaspa's not bad. There's nothing bad about Kaspa. If your complaint is about price, then take a wider perspective of the market, because Kaspa's not bad. Kaspa's down 85%. That's bad, yes. But you can look at any and every other project in this space, every other altcoin. They are down as much, if not more so. Look at Quant. From its recent top, December 2024, it's down 60%. Not as much, right? But then look how far it's come back from launch. AVAX, which it started going down 3 months earlier than Kaspa started going down. That's down 86%, so same as Kaspa, and even then, much further from its all-time high peak. Look at Ondu, which has currently got connected to BlackRock, tokenized real-world assets right now. Peak in December 24, down more than Kaspa, 88%. Tau, the leading AI project in the agentic AI era. All-time high, 3 months earlier than Kaspa, down 76%. Not as much, but still quite significant. You've got Solana, which made an all-time high 2025, January. That's down 70%. That's Solana down 70%. XRP down 61%. It's I still will forever struggle to understand the FUD behind Kaspa in regard to its price, because when people FUD in Kaspa's price, I'm like, what, how, why, what? There's nothing wrong with Kaspa's price. There's something wrong with crypto's price. Altcoins have been bled dry. I think I've blocked the guy on Twitter now, but there was someone who constantly kept messaging about how, oh, 100 BPS coming out, Reebok coming out. That's not another event for the early people to dump. And I'm like, this is just respectfully, it's a stupid comment to make. It's like, are you saying that Kaspa hasn't dumped every single time KRC came out, 10 BPS came out, yada, all these events and catalysts have been events for Kaspa to dump? And I'm like, yes, you're wrong. There have been, don't get me wrong, KRC 20 was not as successful as it was hoped to be, and it didn't do very well for the price. But if you're going to think about it in actuality, like for example, 10 BPS, that was here. 10 BPS was here. That actually caused a 50% pump. But we are in a downtrend market and have been for a while now. So it came down. Expecting Kaspa or anything to pump when the whole market's in a downtrend is just, I don't even have a word for it. It's just not right. So that's also why I very much try to steer clear from talking about price, because frankly speaking, to understand why an asset's going to move up in value, it comes down to its use case and utility. That's what all the leading firms are saying. All the banks are saying, all the JP Morgans of the world are saying. If it's got utility, it's got a use case, if it's deemed as usable, then it'll get adoption. That's the bottom line of it. We're not in a 2021 cycle anymore where hype and FOMO drive the assets. It's utility and use case. And most assets in the space are purely hype and FOMO. Solana's got its fast speed, right? But Solana's value has all come from its meme coin market. That's why Solana got so big. It's quick, yes, but its whole ecosystem was built around the meme coins. That's hype. I'm not saying Solana's going to go to zero. Solana's going to do well. Of course it was. It's the fourth biggest altcoin in this aspect. But I mean, that's why it's making a pivot to AI right now. When it comes to tech, Kaspa is for me the strongest one in this space, and that should be realized in the upcoming months with the big game-changing developments. So Kaspa to $1, the belief by 2030 or even earlier. I know if Kryptoni was here, he would believe it'd be earlier. And I think many of us still think it could be earlier. I'm not doing price predictions. I don't do that on this channel. I don't see why $1 Kaspa is not possible. I see through my research how quickly the space is going to move once certain pieces are in place. Regulations, AI, once geopolitics has simmered down, once these are in place, the capital flowing into the space is going to be significant. It's going to be fast. When that happens, you will see the projects that have been chosen rally up significantly. If those with ETS will do very well. XRP will do well, Solana will do well, ETH, Bitcoin, Sui has some ETS coming in, HBAR, Adira, AVAX, Tau has an ETF, or Grayscale did kind of GTAU. ETFs will help institutions get into the asset. So those ETFs do very, very well. Kaspa does have an ETP through Valor Funds, but it may struggle to get the ball running quicker. But this means it's not going to be. I mean, it's been considered once before. I don't see why it won't be considered again. When Kaspa releases its developments and it starts actively onboarding builders, being interoperable with other chains as well, I'll say it a million times over, Kaspa's going to surprise a lot of people. I still have no doubt about that. Given the current stage we're in with this war, there is everything right now in the internet outage will go to zero. Kaspa's the only one that is actually able to fight that. At least it will be able to in the coming months. DCA is Game Development Conference. So you're saying back here that Unity announced prompting to show off their Game Development Conference this month. Oh, prompting. Okay, right. Okay, I follow you now. I mean, yeah, that is unsurprising. Once more, putting AI stuff, but also very, very huge. KI accrual to Kaspa market cap is completely ambiguous. You can't make an investment in something that keeps you completely out of the know. I mean, you're not incorrect in saying that. I just said it's a reason. It's not the reason. It is a reason. I'm in Kaspa for other reasons. I'm in crypto for other reasons. I'm in Kaspa for other reasons, but KRI is a reason why I remain bullish on Kaspa. It's one of many. It's one of many. Welcome back, Buffalo, bro. You're doing very, very well, my man. I think Kaspa would go back down to 1 cent. It could happen if it just goes back to 20 cent, and probably makes a new all-time high and hits even 30 cents. You're looking at 30x. I'm not sure people would need $1. It's a matter of perspective, right? In this instance, then yes, right? If you think about it in that aspect, Kaspa go to $1, then go up to 30, you made a 30x. Why are you complaining about it not going to $1? In that aspect, yes, I agree. The underlying remaining issue is a lot of us holders, or those who, because right now you're not getting new people in crypto, let alone Kaspa. You're not getting new people in crypto. So most people who are in Kaspa still got in high, and either they aren't DCAing or they're DCAing, but either way their average is still too high. And all these people still who got in, they got in under the false pretense from certain KOLs and YouTubers that Kaspa's going to reach $10 by 2024. So by and large, by that, don't get me wrong, a 30x is fantastic no matter where you go. Stock markets, institutions will put into the stock market year on year and probably aim to make a 40% gain, if that. A 30x, a 3,000% gain is ridiculous. It's insane. But because a lot of us here are long-term holders, still eyeing up the $10, $50 Kaspa, it's like anything that's not a $1 figure. It just seems as just meh. It's naff. I think Kaspa's all-time highs is easily possible this year, if possible, if the stars align, to coin the term that Tan B said, or Item B said. If the stars align and the market starts to make a recovery, Kaspa's passing all-time highs. I don't think that's impossible. I don't think that's possible at all. But you need to see certain conditions met. Once more regulations, AI adoption, geopolitical tensions being nullified effectively, which, if I'm being frank, I think that is going to be difficult. The market's going to have to learn to price it in. At one point, the market did price in tariff headlines because the tariff headlines were constant, repetitive, and just nothing. And they weren't with China. Once Trump announced a trade war with China, that's when the markets... That was October 10th. Government shut down, trade war with China, markets collapsed. So that could be fantastic. I would not be complaining with 30 cent Kaspa. Definitely not. But everyone here, normally are long-term holders, they are still hoping and seeing and expecting $1 plus. And I don't see why any of that's not possible. Where is that Crypto Pumps bloke? Welcome back, Butandi. Crypto Pumps is probably asleep right now. It is midnight where I'm at. I'm going to be shutting off very shortly myself. Crypto Pumps and myself, we host the Blockchain Banter edition on YouTube every Tuesday night. So, Crypto Pumps, he's only on this channel as a technicality, although he's not. He's on his own channel, but we both stream from our channels at the same time. He's on this channel once a week with our guest stars, talking about the developments of Kaspa and the general situation, just having a chill chat basically once a week. So he's not here today, but you'll see him on Tuesday, which technically is now tomorrow for where I'm at. Look at the monthly charts. I'd say, for example, look at Solana before it had a pump. It gives you a month to buy. You could have bought Solana at $20 for months last cycle. Just wait until that's inside. I mean, yeah. One thing I will say is be careful using historical data, because this is not the same cycle. I think it's been quite evident it's not the same cycle. We are very much in a new environment. Historical data could be very, I mean, I use historical data for certain elements like price, right? Like if I'm trying to determine my technical support areas, and you can see where you've seen a battle going unfolding here, that for me is a support or resistance zone. Same thing down here. So I can use my historical data for that, and it can be helpful. But as we are in a very, very different market, for me, what drives the market isn't the charts, if that makes sense. I think TA is very, very helpful. Looking at your weeklies and your dailies, your monthlies, your minute time frames all have their own benefits. The smaller time frames are more so if you're trying to do trading. The smaller the time frame, the I guess more aggressive your trading is, or more short term. You're so like day trading type of thing. If you're doing 5 minute, 1 minute charts, you're more so day trading, trying to get those quick little blips, probably on high leverage. But for me right now, I don't use TIA in that element. I don't use TIA in that element at all. I don't use my indicators or the charts like that. The charts tell me the price of the asset. It's the fundamentals that determine the price. That's for me what matters, right? Solana could be down for however long, right? What's going to ignite the market and crypto to recover is not we've been down for 10 weeks, so now it's time. It's we've been down for 10 weeks. The fight has now become just noise, so we're not really bothering it anymore. So we might start making a bit of recovery, and then you're going to see a announcement, a fundamental development, a macro report that's a good catalyst that will start the markets pumping again. Also, a point of word or point of notice. Every cycle prior to this, we had QE, end of QT, QE, and markets pumped. We only ended QT in December. We've not even had QE yet. So, we don't have to be insulting Tambi. And once more, this is another indication. This is not an indicator that Kaspa's not doing well. Crypto is not doing well. We need to get out of the bubble, especially when we're making comments as well. Get out of the bubble of Kaspa. You could be a Kaspa maxi, that's perfectly fine. But get out of the bubble of Kaspa, right? Kaspa's not doing well. It's not a case of the community per se, because it's not Kaspa's doing badly. It is crypto. It is the broad market that's doing badly. Kaspa's just in that market. If Kaspa was down as much as it is right now and Bitcoin was still near 100k and everything else was still doing okay, then you've got an argument to make. But Kaspa is literally following the market trend and has been doing so. And frankly speaking, Kaspa's been very much in line with it. AVAX started dumping March 2024. Tau once more started that corrective behavior somewhat in March 2024. Kaspa started it in August 2024. Most other assets did it after the pump. You know? Did it in December 2024 or January 2024. So that's incorrect. I'm literally just showing that right now. That is literally incorrect. That's literally wrong. Some assets pumped and did their peak when Trump was inaugurated. So he got inaugurated in January 20th, 2025. Some assets made a peak around then. Some actually peaked in December. So that was about 6 months after Kaspa. But still many assets, some big assets like your AVAXs, like your TAUs, peaked 3 months earlier than Kaspa. So that is not a correct statement to make at all. And at the same time, be that as it may, Kaspa is still down as much in percentage as every other altcoin. So what does that point matter either? How long we've been correcting for is irrelevant if we are down as much as everything else. So once more, that doesn't matter. So again, that's why you need to get out of the Kaspa bubble. Look at the market more objectively and actually make fair comparisons. Don't have a bias and make comparisons, because otherwise you're never going to get the proper answer. Are we still early? You kept saying that at 10 cents, bro. People who listen to you are wrecked. Sorry, but I told you so. Yes, we are still early. Well, I don't get your point. We are still early. What? Everything's down. We've been down for ages. And if you've been following along to the channel properly, Arzo, you would have heard me talk about the general market. Kaspa for me is more than just pump, hype, short-term play or whatever. I keep holding my capital because I believe in it long-term as well. I sold everything I had, and I hold stable coins in Kaspa right now. I sold it all at 98k Bitcoin. You can go back to whatever live stream that was around the time I said, if we lose 98k Bitcoin, we lose this zone here, I'm going to be selling my assets and holding stablecoins. That's what I've been doing. And then I just continue to put a little bit into Kaspa every now and then and wait for the entries. But when you think about, if you did your research, with respect, if you did your research and you saw what is being built, what is going to be coming to crypto, the level of capital is going to be coming to crypto, then the statement of we are early is 100% correct. If you don't like the statement, then you don't have to be here. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. But I've showcased tens, if not hundreds, of institutional documents regarding their thesis and their belief and why they're bullish on crypto and all this sort of things. But the key foundations that are necessary for the investment to come in are not here. Regulation is the main one. That has been the key premise that I've been talking about as to whether this is going to be a good site. You need the regulations involved. They've not been here. That's literally all it is. Right, so your comparison is to compare Kaspa to the massive, massive top 10 projects. Kaspa is very much in the mid caps, if that, right now. You're comparing Kaspa to the top projects. And equally then, Kaspa's down 85%, Solana's down 70%. ETH is the number 2, and that's down 50%. Bitcoin's down 50%. Once more, it's not an objective comparison to make. This is also why I very much dislike talking about price, because you can talk about price whatever. There's no right answer in price talking because there's always an argument to be made for and against. I think comparing Kaspa's price to any other asset is ridiculous, especially comparing it to big cap projects that are in the top 10. Because then as I just showed you, compare it to other assets that aren't as big. Your quants, your ondus, which have connections to the likes of BlackRock, to keep reiterating that. Your chain links, you've got so many other massive projects that aren't in the top 10 that are actually down as much, if not more, than Kaspa. Price talk is such a nuanced black hole, rabbit hole rubbish. It's not unimportant, of course, because we're in here to make money. So that's why I still continue to talk about the price, because it is the consequence of what we're doing in this space, trying to learn more about it. But if you make your whole investment ideology or whether you should get something based purely off the price, then you're going to keep losing. I'll be honest, you're going to. It's just how it is. YouTubers kept saying we are early at 10 cents, even 15 cents. I kept telling them you're not early, but they said we're fudding. I mean, they are. Yes and no. The statement of we are still early is objectively still true, because that euphoric rally's not come through just yet. We haven't got TradFi on board crypto DeFi properly yet. So until that happens, the statement we are still early is factually correct. Now, if the statement you are making of we're still early is in respect of we're going to be going down, then you were correct. But the objective opinion that we are still early, because we haven't got TradFi here yet, that's the entire thesis around we are still early. We haven't got the $1 trillion banks all on board blockchain properly yet. They're still running on traditional rails. That is true. So we can still say we're early. bought Kaspa first in December 2022. I think it was sold most 15 cents, 20 cents. She asked me to buy at 1 cent, and I say, hell yeah. Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, that's also factually accurate. That's right. You should always be doing your own research anyways. I mean, I'm not sure how attentive people actually listen to this content. I think they kind of just chill in and just handpick something I say and run with it. But if you've listened to the content for a while properly, you've heard me say that I DCA into Kaspa repeatedly because I want to lower my average and I believe in the project for the long term. But when it comes to crypto as a market right now, when we lost 98k Bitcoin, I sold. I hold altcoins. And I've not been saying to buy at all. Not that I'm a financial advisor anyways, so do your own research, trade discussion, but I'm not buying. I haven't been buying since we lost 98k Bitcoin, which hasn't been since November 2025. I've not been buying at all. I've been looking into other assets to buy into in preparation for when we get to the bottom. But yes, you're right, R0. You should be doing your own research anyways. ETH was one big disappointment last cycle. All smart money was in Solana. Yeah, because of the meme coins were there as well. Early was 2022 and sell 2023. Anything after this is late, like a good meme coin, good community. Proof of work fair launch is almost once more the entire market's down. This is an impossible conversation to have because it only goes round in circles. The entire market is down. The statement of 22 was early, 23 was when you sold. Yes, in that aspect, yes. Although that's the peak there, but yes. But the entire crypto market is down, not Kaspa. Once more, get out of the bubble. The entire market is down. Everything is down. If as much, if not more, or slightly less, but in and around the same amount as Kaspa. Everything is down. And when you do your research, when you look through articles like this, and listen to interviews like these from leading institutions, which there are literally hundreds in here, coming from the likes of, this is from BNY Mellon, which also quotes Baker McKinsey. You've got Capgemini, you've got another BNY Mellon document there, you've got interviews, you've got this from Baker McKinsey again, you've got the roadmap from the UK regulatory landscape from FCA. All these things are so crucially important. MasterCard. When you read through documents like this and you actually understand what they're talking about and the amount of capital coming into this space, they're going to invest into it, the statement "we are early" is a correct statement to make. Because they want to get involved in stablecoins, in blockchain, in crypto. They want to utilize it because the system they have, Swift, is slow, it's terrible. The ability to send money back and forth across borders in seconds is something that they want. But they also want to have regulations, safety, security barriers. We haven't got that yet. And until we get that, the statement "we are early" remains true. When I say that we are early, I say we are early in Kaspa, but it's also a generalization of we are early in crypto. If you're taking it as me saying we're early in Kaspa and that alone, then you're misunderstanding the point of my message or point of my statement even. I've been very transparent. Don't get me wrong, Kaspa's my biggest holding, my biggest conviction. I'm a Kaspa maxi, definitely. But I'm a crypto investor. I don't just invest in Kaspa. I have playbooks and deep dive documents of other assets I am looking to invest into in this, posted to my VIP community. Real world assets consisting of the likes of Quant and Ondu. Because they are connected in elements that I think will be worthwhile and therefore can make gains. AI assets like Tau, Vendor, and some other ones I've also mentioned in there as well. That I don't just invest in Kaspa. Right now I'm early in Kaspa because for me it's a different form of investment for me. And I think it's going to pay off. But the statement "we are early" is a factually correct one if you don't believe that you've not done enough research. Bottom line, if you want to find out more, understand why I'm saying that, there are free trials for 7 days or even for a month. If you sign up to BYDFI, you can learn all the information we've got going in there, exactly why we still say we're early. You can learn what's happening in the immediate now and be able to analyze the market trends and get ahead of the game. You can learn and make gains through trades that we're doing in there as well, and much more. Links are all down below in the description, family. You know where to find them. Oh yeah, I love you too, man. I do. I mean, yeah, I know you've been a stickler for Kaspa for a bit right now, but you're not incorrect in saying that. And yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the, I guess, advantages that I have had. While I am always trying to be bullish, and I think I'm justified in doing that, I think the fact that I've stayed here through second fin has, as you kind of showed, that it is earned some kudos from me. And I think, if anything, as well, you've hopefully all recognized throughout the last, few months of my content as well, that I am, while still bullish, and I still remain bullish, I am, well, more brutally honest. I think honest was always the case for me, but more brutally honest. It's just how I am. I'm not here to sell false dreams, It's like, what's the point? I'm here to talk about what I believe in, what I love as an educator, talking about Kaspa, and why I still wholeheartedly believe that it's going to come back. But we can go lower. And that shouldn't be a cause for concern. If you believe in the project it is, that's not a cause for concern at all. We'll come back stronger. And we'll make bigger gains when it happens. And the catalyst to come out for that, for Kaspa-wise, is here. And for crypto-wise, it's regulations, it's AI. We're just having to play a patient game because this is all what we're seeing right now. War after war, Trump headline after Trump headline, tariff headline after... It's a headline from Trump once again. That's what drives the market. And yeah, if you enjoy the content, family, as Art0 says, I appreciate the chats and the comments. If you enjoy the live streams and stuff, leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. We are still very much in a very turbulent time. And yeah, a lot of YouTubers do leave, right? They move on to other projects or they move in general. A lot of YouTubers as well also at that point already had their VIP communities, which of course I've got my own. But a lot of them kind of had their community and they just kind of embedded themselves in that and stopped making content. I would never do that. I mean, to be fair, I did talk about the business cycle and talk about how it's a potential for an extended cycle, but I also did highlight certain key zones that it needed to hold on to for it to still be relevant. So I did talk about the business cycle, about extending. I did very much say that the 4-year cycle theory is dead, and there's a lot of sources to support that. A lot of institutional sources that said the 4-year cycle theory is dead. So I was one of those YouTubers in that aspect. But I also did highlight that that's what institutions say, so it's a possibility. But there are certain key elements that need to take shape for that to be actually take shape to actually play off. Regulations and not a damn war, right? A war's a black swan event in the loose term, because black swan technically means an unforeseeable event. This war is very foreseeable. But if you didn't have a war, and the regulators came through as intended, we didn't have a government shutdown, you could have seen that rally. But there's been loads of stuff happening. Lol, you still believe the news makes the markets? The macro reports and the geopolitical tensions, yes. Is there market manipulation? Yes. Very, very true. Is there market manipulation? Then yes, very, very true. Market manipulation does happen. Insiders do buy and sell and front run people. But the news... Are you trying to say that charts matter more than the fundamentals? Because if you are, then that is ridiculous, quite frankly, and that is an egregious comment to make. That's wrong. If you were part of the VIP community and you saw the posts and stuff being put in there, the analysis, the geopolitical, the news does affect the markets. That's been very, very evident. You think the government shutdown happened and the tariff with China and Trump happened on around October 10th and the markets crashed. Was there insiders who front run that and made it worse? Yes. But they didn't. The market crashed because of that news anyways. Like, that is simply how it works. It's true, don't buy or sell based on news. Look at the charts and look at liquidity. We've got great things like liquidation heat maps now. Liquidity is what moves markets, not news. The news is what it determines investor sentiment and will cause the shift up or down. Liquidity zones are very, very helpful. All those things, everyone has their own manner in which to invest into. And all of them work in their aspect. For me, news has been fundamentals have been very, very helpful. When I'm looking at macro reports, when I'm looking at geopolitical headlines, these things do very much impact the market. Charts makes everything, fundamentals makes nothing. They use the news narratives to pump or dump based on liquidations. I mean, yes and no. I mean, it's not incorrect, but the news do impact the market. But it's not incorrect, right? It's not incorrect. But saying that news has no impact on the market is incorrect. Okay, well, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. You disagree. I have been very, very successful in my investing in crypto journey for the last 5-6 years based on pairing technical analysis with fundamentals. I use technical analysis to determine support and resistance zones here. I use TA to determine the support zones and levels of resistance, and then the fundamentals determine whether the price is going to be going up or down. If there's no news happening, then TA becomes more important to me. Charts and TA become more important if there's nothing happening. If you're seeing war headline after war headline after war headline after war headline after tariff headline after bad macro report, terrible job data, markets are going to be reacting poorly. On the chart, you can see it's at a very low range and you can see a great entry for a run. Yeah, again, TA is important. Charts and TA is important. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying that fundamentals push it more. They both have better times and situations. If you're in a market you are right now where you're in a new tsunami, very much headline driven market and economy, then these news impact the market more than just technical analysis. Because frankly speaking, if you looked at TA, you would have got screwed up here. If you did just TA in charts, you would have got screwed up here. That was China versus Trump in tariff war and a government shutdown. That's what this was, causing this, this crap here. They all are important. They all are important, and people can make it successful purely based off charts. People can make it successful off charts. People can make it successful purely off fundamentals. I combine the both. But when we're in a market we are right now, the fundamentals play more weight than TA for me. This is the sort of stuff we talk in the VIP as well. Our experienced trader in there, C Crypto, says the very same thing. This is the current market trends where the supports are and whatnot. But it's the fundamentals right now that drive the markets. If we were in a situation right now where there was, if you go back to, where can we go back to? Well, the thing is, since Trump's been in office, it's been a headline pretty much all the damn time. Tariff headline after tariff headline. I don't even think what I go back to. I guess you go back to 2024 here. You saw this peak here. This came off the back of BlackRock getting involved in the market, ETF pumping, made a top here. You saw 6 months consolidation down here with nothing really moving. That's when I used TA a lot then to determine whether the buyers and sell zones were. Because there's nothing really headline heavy here. Nothing really fundamental here. That's completely incorrect. I'm sorry, I do not agree with that at all. Claiming it has nothing to do with the tariff headlines is wrong. At least in my belief. I don't think it's alcohol. And I've been holding Kaspa for a while and buying it continuously. You're making it sound like I bought at the top and like I'm down. Like I'm down, but I didn't buy at the top. I've been buying repeatedly. And I sold everything at 90k Bitcoin to offset any further losses, and I was right in doing so. But the alignment of China and tariff headlines, anytime there's a headline between China and China and US and tariffs, you've seen a correction, because that's when your insiders or your market makers, whatever, see the headline as an opportunity then to start dumping on the market. And the government shutdown also didn't help with that sentiment either. I've been there, Jay. It's okay. I used to think news matters as well, but having been in the market for 10 years now, I know charts and liquidity zones. Well, I mean, if it works for you, brother, then it works for you. Maybe one day I'll get to that same sentiment as you then. But for me, news does still very much matter. And that's, I mean, I have had a very vast number of success in the last 2 years, especially the last 6 months with crypto. I had a very vast number of success with crypto because I've been looking heavily into the fundamental news and understanding how that's going to impact the markets. Like I can, if you look into the liquidity zones and whatnot, then you can probably get a closer insight, and it definitely can be helpful indicators. For me, I can look at the TA, look at how the markets look for Bitcoin right now. I can determine based on that you're seeing buyers and sellers fighting for control around these zones here. And then for me, based on what news happens that day, or what news is potentially about to happen and the sentiment, that was the time when the market's going to go up and either reach that zone, get rejected that zone, or even go down. Ultimately, when it comes to investing or trading, whatever it may be, everybody has their own strategies that work for them. If yours works purely based off liquidity zones and whatnot, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. In fact, congrats, and I hope you continue making gains. Those people who do it purely based on fundamental news, also perfectly fine, great for you. For me, I combine the both. When we're in a cycle where headline news is not the trend all the time, then I'll be reverting very heavily back into the TA element, because that's what's going to ultimately let me know where levels of support and resistance are going to be. But when right now seeing a new war headline news something every week, and therefore markets reacting because of that, then it's hard to not believe that fundamentals drive markets. I was capped at 2022 based on the charts. I only later found out what the project was. I was buying on XC. That was an FFP for me and could at the top. I mean, I'm not saying that is not. I'm not saying that's not incorrect, but I do think that the news was still very much relevant in that aspect. Yeah, no one knows the future at all. I mean, I agree with that as well. There's a range between 1.5 cents to 2 cents, and then you go from there for 0.5 on the nose. I mean, yeah, that's similar to what I'm saying as well. I mean, I've got zones for capital right here and now. You've got zones in and around, you've got zones on the way down. You have to find some support, which you can see here. And you can see there are supports for Kaspa on the way down. Where it finds the bottom, that's what successful for me. I can look at the market, do my technical analysis, see where there has been a fight and a battle for control between buyers and sellers, which is what these candles represent. I can see there has been, therefore, a level of support or resistance found at that point. And then what's going to determine whether we find that and get that support, or we're going to lose it, is based on the announcements or developments at the time. That's what's worked for me. Until it doesn't work, I'll continue using it. Bitcoin could go to 40k, yeah. I mean, for me, my zones for Bitcoin was here, 38k. to 40k. This for me is possible. 40k definitely is a zone there as well. If we lose 50k, I see us come back down there. Precisely. That's exactly what my point is. Whatever works, use it. If fundamentals for you is what matters the most and what helps you the most to best drive the markets, then go for it. Yeah. I mean, I've used fibs. I occasionally use fibs. Like if I'm trading frequently, which I do trade. If I have the time to do my own trades, if I don't, like sometimes I just partake in the trades posted by the traders in our VIP community because that's what they do. That's why they're there, to help provide that incentive to the communities as well. And I've done well for them. They've been very good. That's why they're still there. But if I have time to do my own trades, I'll be using the fib trades. And so I use fibs as well. I use fibs. Some people use moving averages. I don't think SMAs are that good for me. I don't really like RSI either. They both work and they have their use case, but I don't find them that helpful for me. Just for me personally. If they work for you, they work for you. Keep running it. Don't change your strategies because someone else doesn't say they like it. You do what works for you. If you know how something works and it works well for you, then go for it. My high success rate though, like my trading success rate right now, based on my own trades and based on trades that my VIP traders do, is at like 85%. Because it's just been working. The fact of the matter is, like for example with virtuals, you can even see, this is one that I did myself. You even see the virtuals. I bought in here, it went up, came down, went up here. It just didn't get out. I got very fortunate in a sense, but that's why I looked at my zone here. I was like, okay, I think there's going to be a level of support here, so I'm going to put it just above, just in case. Came back down, and then the next day, it cashed out once more at the support zone. So, and this trade here that I did, that's just me doing independent trade. That was just purely, there wasn't even much in that. It wasn't like I did anything crazy. I didn't even use fib for that. I literally just looked at the chart. I was like, okay, where do I see support and resistance? I just literally looked at the patterns, and that's it. I saw there. I was like, okay, I want to do a 2-risk trade. I see the volatility coming in right now. I know there's going to be a potential war coming on based on the fundamental news and the other sources that I look into. And then, boom. Got the trade. Got to take profit. I didn't even look at the trade, actually. I came up the next day and I was like, oh. And I looked at the chart like yesterday and I saw it wicked above here. I was like, oh no, did I get liquidated? And then I looked at my BYDFI account. I was like, oh no, it went through. Perfect. FGCs are very interesting, especially on weekly, monthly charts to see where projects might bottom out. I mean, yeah, I think all indicators are there for a reason, all have their use case. I very much agree with that aspect. I think all indicators out there have a purpose, have a use case, and they can very much help in traders and or investors finding the optimal time to invest or trade. And I think it works as well. Yeah, exactly. Like, the bottom line is, do you prefer to get a 30% win rate, but you had a stop loss on all the losses you had, and actually you ended up making like, let's just say you went into every trade with 1k, for example, right? And you had a stop loss at 10% down, right? So therefore you've lost, and you went into 10 trades, so you've lost 700, but the trade you won, you had like a 3x multiplier on all of them. So you made 900, but you lost 700. So you actually 200 in profit. Now, from a percentage point of view, that's bad trading. But from the proper point of view, that's good, and that's all that really matters. I try and get high profits, high percentage and profits, of course. And my percentage profits, my percentage have been good, my profits have been good as well. So, but the fact that if you can show, because you can get 85% win rate, which is what the VIP community has been doing, so it proves that we have a good understanding of the markets and the trends and movements, so therefore we can continue to make gains. And then it just comes down to how much you're putting into it and your own risk tolerance, right? I lose more than 2% of the trade. That's fantastic. That's fantastic, man. Keep it up. That's great. I normally have, I mean, mine will vary. It very much depends on my stop loss. sometimes my stop loss will be a bit more lenient. Like there was one that I tried to get in, one that I got into that one of my traders tried to get into, and it didn't work, and it's kind of unfortunate. When my trader Lambo put this in, I went on to TradingView and I drew it out, and he had decided to put a 2 risk on this, and I was like, oh, don't know about that. Of course, you can see that one just went blue right past, which is unfortunate. But yeah, it's that. But the stop loss in there prevented any further, like that could have been a very, very bad trade if there was no stop loss. That's why stop loss is so important, to mitigate the risks. Oh yeah, we trade altcoins. There are higher gains in it, higher risk, higher reward. Bitcoin. I mean, yeah. I mean that's Bitcoin and Ethereum, especially Ethereum. Actually, they're the most. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and gold. Yeah, those 3 are definitely the most telegraphed and easy trades to do. And if you're trading with massive capital, then if you're making a 2% gain, but you're trading for like 100k, you're making like maths 2k. That is right, isn't it? Yes, it is 1 a.m. now. I'm shattered, to be honest. So I need to shut off soon enough. But yeah, if you're making that, then that's fine. But altcoins is where it's higher risk, but equally high reward. Which the VRPs, the traders, they tend to dabble on a lot of altcoins. And again, 8% success rate in altcoins is impressive. It's impressive. That's why I'm happy that we onboarded them. And I hope they continue to perform. No pressure if you're watching. Once you want to find out more, partake in the trades, learn the market trends, all this sort of stuff. The institutional documentation, the live stream, we're going to be doing one tomorrow, our roundtable. You can check out in the VIP. Links are down below in the description. Yeah, 100%. 100%. But anyways, family, it's a great chatting to you all. Yeah, they're a lot more volatile. It's very hard to determine altcoins. That's why it's a bit more of a gamble, but it's been good. But yeah, anyway, family, if you enjoyed today's stream, do me a favor, leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. Thank you for tuning and chatting in with me once again. Tomorrow's stream should be the usual time, which should be 7 p.m. UK time. We'll see if I get a video out tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure just yet. I have got to, of course, do my VIP roundtable tomorrow, so that might take some time out of that, but we'll see what happens. That being said, family, got some sleep to catch up on. Have a great day, good evening, and good night. And I will see you all in the next one.